So hey guys, Gellis here at Infinite Modesty Design. Now, in this video, we will be making a beautiful white gathered dress with little rolls. All right, so that's how the dress gonna look. And I'm telling you, this dress take me so long to make. It gives me a workout. Now, in the video now, we will be using patterns. So patterns itself, we'll be using patterns. Now, just to let you know that I teach people how to make this pattern online, but the pattern here now, you could download it directly from my website. So what we've been using the back and the front pattern and also the sleeve pattern. All right, you will need fabric. So guys, I use this beautiful fabric here. I just love this fabric. I had to double the fabric though because it was a little bit thin. The fabric I have here, it's about for the individual sizes. I had about I believe it's 5.5 yards. So it's about 2.5 yard roughly to make the bottom, and then about 2.5 yard for the top, so about 5 yard. But what I would say depends, you could always get to be comfortable 6 yards of fabric, because the bottom you would have to gather, you might want it more gathery or less gathery. You also need, of course, your sewing machine, so you definitely cannot forget about your sewing machine. You need, of course, your fabric, scissors. You need your pin cushion here. You need a seam ripper just in case. You need a stick itself. So basically, you would see myself using it in the video. You need, of course, your tape measurement, and you need any sort of marking tool. It could be marking tools, it could be chalk, it could be any marking itself. They could mark on the fabric itself. So of course you need your thread. You cannot forget that, right? You need of course your iron, your ironing board, so you could press as you go along. And pretty much let's dive into this dress. All right, so in this next step, we'll be using this white beautiful fabric. So what I want you to do for your fabric, you want to ensure that you know where's the selvage. So this is the selvage. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a video in the description. I'll put it there. Then you could watch the names of the fabric or fabric anatomy. Okay, so make sure you have your fabric like this. And this fabric is not a the wheat is very minimum wheat of the fabric. So we are going to fold it together like this, and then we're going to put the selvage touching each other like this. Okay, all right, so the next thing we're going to do here now is take our front pattern. So this is my front pattern here. So what I'm going to do here, actually just going to flip this way, which is perfectly fine, so I could work with my pattern at this angle. All right, yeah. So you want to put it identical on the fold of the fabric, like exactly on the fold. And don't worry if you don't like the neckline. If the neckline is too high, don't worry, we'll figure that out as we go along, because it's better if it's high here and we adjust it, and if it's low and then we actually have to do another one. So it's okay like this for now. All right, so the next thing we're going to do here, I'm just going to put my scissors here. The next thing we're going to do here now is we are going to get our measurement calculation along with our cheat sheet here. So we may or may not need the cheat sheet. So this cheat sheet here, guys, this is the circle cheat sheet when we get to circle part. So once you purchase the pattern itself from our website, then I would send the additional handouts via email itself to you. All right, now this cheat sheet is very helpful, so let's get started here. So the bust measurement is 38 for this particular measurement we're working with. So 38, then ease in. So I'm going to put 2 inches ease in all around the dress. So that means itself it will be 1/2 inch all around the dress. Then for the seam allowance, I'll put 3-inch ease in itself. So once we divide it by 4, it will be 0.75 seam allowance we need totally around the dress. All right. So when we calculate all these together, we get 43.5. Then we're going to divide that by 4, because we want the quarter of this, quarter of this, quarter of this, right? So we divide it by 4, and then we get 10.787. So in order to kind of calculate the 10.875, sorry. So 10.875 is okay. Where is my tape measurement here? So that's where our cheat sheet come in very handy. So we're gonna look for the 0.8 0.875. So 0.875 would be around here, right? So 0.875 is around here, and it told me it is 7/8 on my calculation. Sorry, on my tape measurement. So 7/8, see, right? 0.875. Then 7/8 on my tape measurement is here. Okay, so this is my tape measurement here. So this is my full inch. Okay, so 7/8 is right here. So then I know 10.785 would be, let me just write it down. So 10.785 would be right here. 10.785. So you see, it will be this one here. This one, the 16th is, you cannot see the 16th. So the 7/8 is the one right just before the one. So 10.7575 is right here. So that would be my measurement here. So I'll just write it itself. Okay. 10.785. So that's where the cheat sheet come in itself. So you could actually just watch again if you're confused. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna bring this down. I'll bring this down a little bit more because I don't want to waste too much fabric here. All right, and make sure that everything is in line. Just put this a hole, and then I'm gonna go to my bust here. So I know my bust is around here, and I go 10.785 is here. So I'm gonna mark it itself, because when I do my seam allowance, it would come into the seam allowance anyway, right? So 10.785. So I do this here. Hopefully you could actually see it. I know it's a white, but don't worry. It would 10.785 is right here. So if I come right here, if I come right here, 10.785 is right here. So that would be, this will just go clear. That's it. And I'm using size 12 here. You could use any size actually just to adjust it, but I'm using size 12 here. All right. Okay. So that is done. Now, the other thing I'm going to look at now is my empire measurement. So you also want to have something heavy to keep this down so you don't move. So my under bust measurement is 16. So how much would I come down with 16? So I'll do my 16 from the very top of the, actually go either to the middle or closer to the neckline, right? So 16. So 16 will be my cut right here. So what I will do here, 16, right? I'll put one for 17 for seam allowance. For easing, so actually I'll put 16.5 actually. Yeah, I'll put 16.5. I just need half an inch. I don't need much. But you could also put 17 if you gonna take your half an inch up here and you don't want to add it up here, you want to add it, leave it here, right? So either way, you could actually put your half an inch up here, or you could just leave half an inch additional here. That's all. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna actually erase what I just said. So I'm gonna just make 17, right? So now I'm just gonna use this to draw it around. So 17 here. So how do I get that 17 measurement now? So with my 17 now, so actually come, yep, so I'm almost closer to the neckline here. So what I'll do, I'll put my 17 right here, and I know my 17 lie right here. My 17 line right here. So I'm just gonna come down, and all those marking would be in seam allowance anyway, so you don't have to worry yourself. Yep. Because this I'm going with the underbust measurement. All right. So this is one. Now that's the 17. Now for the circle, of that area now, it's the underbust measurement, which is 34, plus I'll put just 1 inch easing because that area you don't want it too big. Then my seam allowance, I'll put it to the same 0.75 multiplied by 4, then I get 3 inches.
So 3 inch seam allowance, and then I'm going to add darts as well. Okay, so when you add all of them, you get when you add all of them and you divide it, sorry, when you add 34 by the additional 5, I don't have the measurement, so if you calculate, you would get it, and then you divide it by 4, then you get 9.75. Okay, so the 9.75 you get from your additional here, then that would be my final cut, and then I'll put the 9.75 here. So this is what I'm going to do. So also I can make this as a base as well to cut out my actual garment. So I have a lot of fabric, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So my 9.75, so what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to put a mark in here. So 1, then I am going to just mark around here. I'll use this as my base anyway. So if you have a lot of fabric, you could always use it as a base. I'll just use it as a base. I'll just take exactly here. I'm not going to take any additional. All right. So when I come here now, take this out. And then I'll join here like this. From here to here. Okay. All right, so then now we're gonna work with our impact. So the circle of that area. So it's 9.75. All right. So 9.75 is easy. I don't have to look for the mixed calculation. I'll start this way. So 9.75, I'll put it here. 9.75 is right here. Okay. So I'm going to connect here to here. I want to connect right here to right here. Remember, we had ease in, seam allowance, everything is in there, so we don't have to worry about anything else. Okay. So I don't need this line. Remember, I'm not gonna use this. I'm gonna use it just as a base. All right. So this is what it is here. And if you want, you could always go and add 1/2 inch seam allowance around here, just to. You could just add 1/2 inch seam allowance. Well, actually, we have seam allowance out here. So I think if we put more, it's just to put it up this way, right? So you want to just add 1/2 inch seam allowance. If it's when we do it, it's too big, it's not a big deal. It's always better to be bigger than smaller anyway. You could always take it in. If it's too tight, then you don't have no other space to go around, right? Yeah. So all these could be adjusted as we go along. But again, I'm just going to make a base here. All right. Okay. So what I want to do with this now, I'm going to cut it. Right? Because I have all what I need here. All right, and then we are going to work with the armhole next, okay?
So hey guys, so now we are going to be cutting out the front piece and also the back piece, because we already do our measurement. We already get the exact sizes we need from the pattern itself. So it's just a matter of cutting everything out nicely and then getting set to do the sleeve. Once we do the sleeve, we'll do the same thing, cut it out nicely, and then move on, of course, to the next step.
From this base now, all right, so now we're gonna cut out our back. So now we're doing the back. So always think about zipper allowance for the back if your dress gonna have zipper. So this dress, we are gonna put a light zipper in it. So always think of seam allowance for the back. So I am gonna do 1.5 inch seam allowance towards the back. So I'm gonna move this. keep in mind, just making sure that I have my, yep, I have more than enough. So 1.5 seam allowance for the back. I could even go 1 inch seam allowance too, but I'm just gonna go 1.5 inch seam allowance. So you just move this to 1.5 inch. So put this exactly at your 1.5 inch moving point. Okay. Just make sure every point is about 1.5 inch. If it's a dummy fabric you're using, you will just mark it. Like for instance, I'm gonna just mark this one actually. So this one is right there, so it's good. I don't have to mark it. This one is right there. So this here is stable. It's just a little out. So it's about average 1.5 inch, right? So yeah, that's fine. Now we are gonna get our point for the empire level, which is 16, or we're gonna go 17 down as I mentioned. All right, so we're gonna mark that on the fabric. We'll mark it on the fabric here. And on the fabric. The boss, we know the boss already is 10.875. So we come at the boss here. 10.875, we're gonna start it here, right? So this, the back is a bit bigger, so that's fine. We can just leave it as that. So it's a little bit more, which is perfectly fine. If you want, you could actually push it back just to adjust, maybe about 1/4 inch back, because you have a lot, right? You could do that here, because 10.875 is here, and we have 1/4 inch. So if I want, right, I could just move 1/4 inch back. Yep. So I could just move my 1/4 inch back, just to adjust that. Yep, because I already have a lot. So you see, you're gonna come here. So this is gonna make my seam allowance a little bit less, right? So my seam allowance a bit less. So it's about 1.25 right here. 1.25 inch, so just 1/4 inch more, right? So that's fine. Anyway, don't make this confuse you. So just itself, whatever you get, if this is bigger to the back, don't stress yourself. Bigger is always better. Okay. So we have it here, 10.175. 10.875, we have 1/4 inch here. I just move it back, so this is gonna be just a little bit less, which is fine. And you move everything back too, so everything you move back. All right. But again, it's not much. If you say the back actually is a little bit more, it's not a big deal. Just leave it. Is if it's less, then you have to make the adjustment, right? But if it's more, it's not a big deal. All right. Now we are going to do. Now we got to the underbust measurement. Is 16. We got 17. The circle of that area now is 9.75. All right, so it's gonna be way less. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna keep it like that, and 9.75 is right here. So 9.75 gonna be more like inside something like that. So what I'm gonna do, we're just gonna draw this around as the last time. That's it. And then we're gonna put our 1/2 inch after. We might adjust the back anyway. All right, so I think we're good. So this is for our zipper part. We know we need that part for our zipper. I'm gonna put something here to keep this here, and then I'm gonna adjust this. So the reason why I'm adjusting, because everyone has different size. Sometimes when you're done with the pattern, you could just cut out just cut it out and it will be perfectly fine with the size. And sometimes again, you have to make adjustments. So this one, we have to make a lot of adjustment, which is not a big deal. And as we go along, everything will make a lot of sense because we'll be making more styles out of these dresses, and everything will work out nicely. So I'm just doing my half an inch around here, just as how I did the last time for the other one. Yeah. That's it. And then we cut out the back, all right? I use this as a base, so it's okay. The base, I'll actually use it to cut out the main fabric. So keep in mind the back will be cutting it in two. Oh, sorry. We have to adjust the empire level. I forgot. So the empire is 9.75. So we're gonna come out 1.25 is here. And then we're gonna come out a quarter here. And 9.75 is right here. Okay. I wrote it, but kind of inside. I think it's here. I wrote it here. Okay. So we're gonna connect here to here.
All right, guys, so we're going to be cutting out our back now. Just make sure we have, just follow the steps to cut out your empire level and to ensure that you have your amount for your zipper allowance. And you can make, of course, any adjustment. You could actually make this style different, the neckline or the back line different from what I've made, but just ensure that you have your two-piece. Once you have the two-piece, then you would see I would cut it out so you not to have two piece for the back and one piece for the front. We use it as a shell.
All right, so now we're making the sleeve. So I have to open the fabric here. So what I want you to do here, the arm circumference for the sleeve is 20, right? And then the length is 16. So let's deal with the circle first, and we'll see how much we have to adjust. So you could take your tape measurement here and just measure around. And then you could use any size, guys. You just have to adjust it. So I'm gonna measure it around, measure around, and see how much I got. 18, 19, or 20. Okay. So what I'll do here, I'm just gonna add 1 inch on its 3/4 of an inch on each side, 3.75 on each side, because I add some easing and seam allowance as well. And then I'm gonna adjust it. So 3/4 of an inch here. So this is it here. So that's gonna come out here, 3/4 of an inch. That's it. Okay. Because this is about 20, so I don't need to add much. And then I just add actually, you know what? Let's add 1 inch, because we're gonna have some seam allowance as well. So we're gonna add 1 inch on each side. Yeah, sorry, not 3/4 of an inch. So just gonna go 1 inch on each side. So they're gonna give us seam allowance on each seam. Yes, make it easier for us. Always good to have more than less. Okay, so this is gonna be our measurement, and you could just cut it out like that. You don't have to put seam allowance. You could just work it like that. Trust me, it's okay. So we deal with this here. So let me make sure which one I have. So I put 1 inch, right? So add a new line here. So this is the 1 inch, and then the length of our sleeve now is 16, and we're gonna put 1 for make 17, because the half length. So 16 and 1 makes 17. So right here, and then we're gonna cut. So once you make the adjustment right here, See? And then now we are just gonna come out the 1 inch here. 1 inch here and the 1 inch here, that's it. And if it's too big, it's not a big deal. We'll always bring it down, no big deal at all. Because if it's too small, then we have problems. So you bring this down to your 1 inch here. This to this. And then this to this. And we're done. If you can see everything clear, if not, then I'll just put it back again because I cannot see clear. And then you cut. And then we cut. And then you want sleeve cut 2. So you're gonna cut 2 from this sleeve. So this is just a base shell I am cutting out now. From this, I'm gonna cut out 2 sleeves. Of course, one for the right, one for the left, right? Of the dress. So basically, you just wanna cut 2 for your sleeves. So I am here again. So I'm just gonna show you what we did in the cutting. So this is something I did. I'm not gonna I'm putting on the video right now. Maybe as I make dresses, you would see how to do this. This is just an additional style. I actually do a lot of different styles that I didn't show on camera. And you would see it as I go along in the dress itself. But what the main thing I want to show you, because this is the main things for the dress. This is just additional accessory if you want. It doesn't have to be. So this is what we did first. We did the front, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use this as a shell. So what is a shell? I'm just going to use it as a base. And then I'm going to use this to cut out 2 pieces here from my front. So this is my front piece. I'm going to cut out 2 pieces from my front here. All right. And then this is my back piece. So I'm just going to lay it again here. So you can see the back piece here. And you'll see the back piece, of course, one side. So you see I put back here. So we have our back piece and then we have our zipper. Remember we talked about our zipper? So you see there's extra folder for our zipper. So for our back piece now, I'm going to cut out 2 of this side and 2 of that side. Okay, so 2 of each side. All right. And then for our sleeve now, so let me put this aside. So for our sleeve, I'm going to cut out 2 pieces. All right. So this here, again, I'm going to be making some additional style. This, I just cut it out, just go again. So it's about 2 and something inch. Yeah, 2 3/4 inch roughly by 33. All right. Doesn't even have to be that long. It could be even just 2 inches itself. But I'm going to actually make an additional style for the sleeve. And you will see how I do here. So it's for each sleeve, I have 2 pieces. This, I also have it for the sleeve as well, although I did not cut it on the video. But you don't have to put this. The main thing is about cutting out the sleeve and cutting out the back and the front from the pattern. That's the main idea here. So all this is just accessory that you could always accessorize. So I'm going to cut out 2 pieces of the sleeves. All right. I'm not going to bother with these. Just 2 pieces of this. And then for the back and the front, 2 pieces each itself. All right. Once you cut it out, then we'll start putting the dress together. All right. So here I'm going to be preparing the sleeve now. For the bottom piece for the sleeve, like I mentioned, you don't have, this is not a must. But for this, in case you want to do this part of the sleeve, this piece is here. It's about 33 by, I think I told you 2.5 or 2 3/4, and you got 2 pieces. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go right sides to right sides with this, and I'm gonna sew it down, okay? And then, so that's the 2 piece. And then for this piece now, I'm just gonna put right sides to right sides, and I'm gonna sew it all the way around to here. Once I finish, and I'll show you all the way around to here, and then we will set it up on the sleeve. All right, so now I sew this down, guys, and then you go just put little notches to the little nips, a couple inch apart, because it's a circle. And for this one, I'm just gonna, but again, like I said, this one is not necessarily, okay? Because you may not know how to make this one, so you could just bypass this one. I just want to give you an idea of how to generally, I'm preparing this. So this is what I want to show you. This is here. I'm just going to turn this around. So you're going to do the same thing for the other one, and then we're going to iron it. So this is how I create the sleeves here. All right, so I'm going to just show you basically how I do it here. So I get it two together. Now it's the two together, now you can put the right sides touching the wrong sides, that's fine. This fabric is not really helping me out too much. So what I'm gonna do, in the sense that you can't even figure out which one is right, which one is wrong. So I just pin it closely, and then I put a pin here to make sure that they're, you put a pin in all the edges there, because it's gonna shift, right? And what I want to do here now for this one, I'm going to actually do one at a time. So I'm going to do one side first, and then I'm going to do the other side, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'll do one side, so I could pin it down and sew it down. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Just sew it down. So for better stability, you want to pin it down. For me, I'm just going to sew it down. And I'm just going to go to the very edge of the presser foot. So that's the very edge of the presser foot I'm going here. But for better, if you're doing this for the first time, again, you don't have to, you could always skip this part. I'll show you the part that you could actually do. So do this side here. All right. Then now what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna actually do this side as well. But it's gonna be on the inside. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just cut this out first, because I don't really need it anymore. Okay, so here. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna actually sew this. So this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna sew this, but it's on the inside here. So I want it to be clean, right? As I have it pinned. So I'm just gonna turn it just like this. So all I need is this raw side. So make sure you hold this side so you could actually get that edge there. And I'm gonna sew it down. So this part again is not necessarily, because I didn't show you how to cut it, so don't worry about that part. I'll show you the part we're gonna actually focus on, okay? So this here, and I'm just gonna sew it down. See, so just right at the very edge of it. So now you just turn it back around. And so this is clean on both sides, right? While you didn't remove your pins, right? See? So now you could do is just get your iron, and you're gonna just iron this because you have to do a top stitch. I'm just gonna iron nicely. Just that area here. Okay, it doesn't need nice and taut. I'm making my iron quick because this, if I leave it too long, it could burn. So just trying to make it quick. Right. I can do it on the other side too. It's really just getting that area stable. All right, so we're gonna do a top stitch right here. So a top stitch is just leaving the edge of the presser foot right at the very edge of the seam. I'm making sure you show a nice stitch so the seam allowance on the inside would stay down nicely. So we're gonna do a top stitch here. So you see, this is how we do it here. So it's on both sides, all right? And then you can iron it again so it can stay down nicely. But what I want to do here, I'm going to just move to the next step. So I'll just, how I make this, so now I just have to make sure which one is my actual right side and wrong side. Again, I don't even know. But I think the shiny side, which is my shiny side, I don't even know. So anyway, I just use one of the sides. I think this is shiny, right? Every side looks shiny. So what I want to do here now is just take this and I'm gonna make sure you come in the middle here. So now you're just gonna average in, right? If it looks straight, if it don't look straight, then you just move it to look straight. So what I'm gonna do to kind of have a baseline or a guide, sorry, I'm just gonna put some pins along the line here because I'm just doing it in my, I'm just doing this freehand style, right? So I think it's okay. If you want, you could always measure the middle part. You could always measure the middle part here and then bring your tape measurement. So measure the middle part here or any part, bring your tape measurement just to kind of get the middle itself, right? So I think we're okay. So I'll just move it a little bit to this side. Yeah. You could always measure to be accurate as you can, all right? But what you could also do as well, just put this in half. Oh, this pin is stuck. You can put this in half and you can iron it, guys. You can put it in half, iron it, right? Just to kind of get the middle point, right? So I'm actually on point, so I'm good. So I'll just put another pin right here. So this is just my guide. All right, so now that I have a guide, I am going to seal this part here just to close the mouth in. Just bring it in like that. And then I'm gonna close it in. when I close it up like that. Give me a little trouble. All right, so because it's like right there, it's right at the edge. It gives a little trouble, but anyway, I think I get the point anyway. So all right. So now it's just to pin it in, right? Then you're gonna just fold. See, there was not anything special I did, I just fold. And I try to fold it straight. Try at least. So it looks kind of uneven. Just make it even. See, this one wasn't. Yeah, it's okay. So you see how you have a guide, because you're gonna lose focus very easily. I think I make this one too small. I think I'll make that one more bigger. There's no right or wrong, guys. It's just you creating your own style, that's all. If you want it more, like some people are very precise, you could always measure how much you fold in. But it's all good. Okay. So you get the point, right? That's how it looks. And then now we're gonna just sew it down on the middle part. See how we do this on the middle part? Just sew it down on the middle part, and that's it. Just take out your pin and you're gonna supposed to be taking out mine because some of the pins are bent. So we are gonna have a waistband. So what I've done, I've got this fabric. Sorry, I got this the measurement. Let me just give you the measurement of the band. So it's just a band. You would see how it is. The band, the width of the band, it's about, it'll go 5 inches. I think I go 5.5 inches, I think. Yeah, go 5, let's say 5.5 inches. And then the length, I had like, let's say 42. And I have 2 pieces, all right? So what I've done with the 2 pieces, I've just folded this in half, and then I just curve this area. So I just took it with my scissors and just curve this area. Or you could just draw from here to here and just a curve to get this here. So I'm gonna sew this 2 down. So let me just sew 1. So again, you go do right side to right side. If you're not sure which is the right side, just turn it, because this fabric is a little bit you really don't know which is which. So guys, I just speed up the video just for time. You don't have to make a band in the dress, but of course it would be nice. But all the same, I'll put on some music, so just sew along, and then we go to the next step. So I'll sew the other one too. So once you finish your band, then you're gonna try turning it, okay? For the neckline now, so you're gonna get the neckline. So what I've done, I put interfacing on this is interface, but don't worry about it if you don't have interface. You just want to make a dress if you want to follow along the video. So I put interface on this side to have the fabric a little bit more structured, because the fabric is a little bit not that, it's really dancey. So yeah, so you put the neckline together here and you pin it. So guys, it's just right sides to right sides for the neckline, and you're gonna pin it down nicely. And of course, once you complete, then you would sew it at the neckline. And in this case, we'll do that 1 inch. And then we'll do the back neckline also. Again, the same thing I did here. So this is one of the back neckline here. So I put right sides to right sides. So you put the other piece right sides to right sides, because remember you're supposed to have 2 pieces here. And the other piece here, right sides to right sides. So first, before you do anything, you want to line them up together like this. And then we put in lining. That's why you have this other piece here. So this, I think, should go over here. And this should come over here. Alright, so we have it here. I'm going to pin it, but I'll do 1 inch down. Okay? I'll do a 1 inch, because the neckline is actually really high. So I'm just gonna do 1 inch down for both of them. So you can pin it more stable, or you don't even have to pin it at all. Once you're okay, you could sew it like that. You could just sew it down. But I'm pinning it because, yeah, I want you to follow this. It's easier. All right. So now we're gonna sew it down. So we're sewing 1 inch down. So now we're gonna sew 1 inch down itself, just so nicely. Remove your pin if you have pins there, and complete. All right, then you're going to also do it for the back necklines as well. Remember, the back is 2, the front is 1. Once you finish, then we'll continue. So if there's any space, I'll put on some music until we are complete. once you're done, you're gonna trim around here now. You don't have to bring the neckline 1 inch. It's just that the neckline for this one was a little bit too high. So I bring it 1 inch. So I'm just putting around my neckline where I sew. And you have to do this knot so that the fabric will relax around the circle area. Okay, this is more relaxed now. Especially here, you want it to be even more relaxing. You gotta be mindful, don't cut the thread. Okay, now I'm gonna turn it, and then I'm gonna iron it. I'm gonna iron this one. And I'm going to turn it, I'm going to iron it. So now I am going to, so now we iron it, make sure you iron it. So now I am going to do my understitching now. So I'm going to understitch it here, and here, and here. So let me explain. When you're doing the understitch, you want to make sure that your seam allowance is on this side, also the front or the back side. So this is the back side, the one where I have, or any side could be the front or the back. It depends on if it's the same fabric, right? But you just have to know. You have to know so you don't just do it anyhow. So you have to put your garment like this to make sure, okay, this is my back. This is my back, right? So I'm sewing the end on this here now. I'm sewing it on this side. Because you don't want it to sew on this side, right? So that's it. So now this is the clean side. So I'm sewing the interface on. So right side touching right side, good. So I'm gonna sew it on this side. So this side I'm gonna be sewing the interface on, not on the other side, sorry. So this side here, just you always have to tell yourself first before you even start to, because when you sew, when you make a mistake, then you have to take up everything. So just know which side. Because this is the right sides here. This is the outside, the wrong side. So right side is the right side. So I'm sewing my understitch on this side and on this side. Okay, so the understitch is very, very thin. I usually say 1/8 of an inch. But for this one, we're gonna sew 1/4 of an inch. So I'm sewing. This I know is this side I'm sewing it on. So I put this side and I put it right next to the edge of the presser foot. Just make sure that your seam allowance, seam allowance ought to be on the side you're sewing the understitch on. So now you can go ahead and iron again, just to make sure everything's stable down. And once you iron, of course, to move to the next step. So I'm just gonna move to the next step actually. So you see the end, the understitches, you stitch right under there. It's white, so. Okay, so I am going to put everything right side to right side again. And then I'm going to pin it by the neckline here, because I want to sew the neckline down together. And we're gonna sew it down. Okay, so once you pin here, the next thing we're gonna do to pin now is the band. So we'll pin the band right here. So settle the dress well. You have everything settled nicely. Take your band, this is on one side like this, and we're gonna sew it down. And we're gonna do the lace, just go 1 inch, because we need at least half an inch for sewing allowance, and then I will say 3/4 of an inch. So measure 3/4 of an inch for the edge and put it here, because we don't want it too high. Nor do we want it low, because low is going to interfere with our seam allowance. So we just leave 1/4 of an inch space. Okay. So make sure this is down. And the other side now. Go this way. And make sure it's down as well. So I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch again. Just 3/4 of an inch up. So just 3/4 of an inch. That's a good settle. And then I put my band this way and I pin it. And again, the tail is down like that. And then I'm going to sew it down, and sew the neckline.
guys, just go ahead and sew the neckline, sew the band in, definitely. So I just want to say something for sure. We have online dressmaking academy starting in 2026. If you are in that realm, definitely you could connect. Yep, so 2026, today is February. We are starting online classes, of course, in-person classes as well. If, of course, I'm still offering it by the time you listen to this video, but we are offering online classes. I'm going to put the information on the screen. You could connect with us at Infinite Modesty Design. Check out our website if you want to go more detailed in your sewing, because I know a lot of things I do, some of you guys may not pick up, but all the same, connect with us. There you go.
So this is how it is. Okay, so I did some minor, I did this and that, but what I really want you to do is just ensure you have a shell for your blouse, okay? Even though you don't go into any details, like for instance, I did the darts, I did it off camera. As we go along, and if you follow my channel, you'll understand even more and more, because I have to do like little mini videos for that. All right, so I do darts in the back and darts in the front, because we did leave darts, but in your cutting you don't have to put darts. You could just make a simple dress. I made some minor alteration as well. So what I'm going to do here is to put our sleeve together. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing right now. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to do it like this. Right, so I leave it like this. There's a harder way to do the sleeve and there's an easier way to do the sleeve. So we're actually doing the easier way to do the sleeve. We put it like this. And then we do the sleeve this way. This way. Okay. So we are going to put this in the middle. That's the middle part here by the shoulder. Make sure that yep. Shoulder part here. And then if there's any seams here, we're gonna open it. And then we're gonna pin it down. So the sleeve could be a headache. So you're gonna pin it down. All right. So as you pin it down, you're gonna pin it down this way. So the sleeve is a circle, so you have to take time with the sleeve. And I would suggest that you actually pin it down if you're doing it for the first time. Or some people just go as far as basting it down just to make sure they have it right. Okay, so we're gonna pin this down. Continue pinning it down nicely. And if the sleeve doesn't, if you have a little extra in the sleeve, we could always put it on the top. So see what I did here? So I start there. And I'll just go up now. So if I'm getting extra, I'll always put the extra as a little, a slight gather on top, not too much gather. Just very, very slight. If it was a cotton based fabric, it would have easier to manipulate, but this one is a little bit harder. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna take up this. I'll bring it as close as possible, like here, and I could just make a little fold in. You know, something small there. This pin is not that good. This pin actually is dull. Yeah. So we'll do the other side. This is how it is for now. We'll do the other side. And make sure when you're doing it, you do right side to right side, okay? So the other side, you could actually start from down here. That's perfectly fine. So sometimes your sleeve fits perfectly, but if there's just a little bit gap, don't panic. We're just gonna fold it up to the bottom, to the top. There's other way we could actually eliminate it completely, but it's okay. I don't mind it. So see here. So what you could do here, now that I'm at the top here, I could actually open the both of them here and just wrap this around here, wrap this around here, and repin it again. So you see, it doesn't even do anything much. Yeah. All right. See, this is what I have here. This is our sleeve nicely here. So do the same thing for the other side, and then we'll sew it. Oh, we're gonna sew. I'm gonna just do up and press now to show you. The sleeve is not a play. Could be a headache. So you just gotta be careful with the pin if you have a sew braid, but I would suggest you take it out as your sew. So we're gonna hold 1/2 inch. So that part you could always do a back stitch around that area because it's thicker. Alright. Make sure it's thick. Something about what pins I have there. Keep on turning, like that. That's it. All right, so now you want to put the sleeve together, so right sides to right sides. You see here. So I pin. So let me just put it here for you to see. So this is it here. I'm going to have pins in it. So I put the sleeves. So now I'm going to just do the sides now. So I pin the sides. I'm going to bring it back to show you how I pin the sides here. Just make sure you match up these seams together, and then we're gonna just sew this down, and we're gonna sew the other side down. Also do some serging to make this area look neat. And then we're gonna sew this all the way nicely down. You can start from the top or the bottom, it doesn't really matter. Just go 1/2 inch. I'm doing 1/2 inch down. you come here, you can leave the pin by the armpit there, just to make sure you have the seams nicely down. Right, so you do the other one as well. So I'll finish that. Guys, this is how it is so far. So the sleeves is like this. Let me just come here. The sleeves is this way. Alright, so don't mind the black serging here. The serger thread, it's there, and I'm not gonna take it out, but everything gonna be hidden inside anyway. So that's how it is so far. And the band, let me see if I can move this mannequin. So the band is at the back here. So I haven't finished, I haven't closed it yet. I don't mind again the black dress. So this is the band here. Right for the dress. I'm gonna pull it out. So the next part now is to put the bottom piece. So guys, now I have the bottom part, which is a gather. So if you guys have been watching my channel, there's a last video where I did a gather skirt. You would see if you're doing a gather skirt, you could actually go, if your waist is 20, just go your waist 20 multiplied by 3 to cut out the full width for the gather skirt. Or you could go 20 by 20. So it all depends on how long you want the gather skirt is. All right, so in this case now, what I'm going to do here, I am going to just sew the gathered. So I'm not going to do the needle and thread. I would actually do a double stitch from the sewing machine and pull the thread. That one is a little bit harder, but that's what I'm going to be going to do now. So what I've also do here, the fabric is very thin, so I put a double, so just a double the same thing on it, because the fabric is very, very thin. Just so a big stitch here, very, very big, half an inch, so but I'll do a double stitch, so no back stitch. So this part we have to be very careful. You have to pull it, but you have to be very careful because it's easy to boss. The thread is so easy to boss. You have to be gentle. So that's the idea, to get the gather. So the gather come, but you have to get it. That's the other way to do it. All right, so do it all the way now to the other end, but be careful. Okay guys, so once you gather it up to your satisfaction, and you think it's see, that's how it is, then you're gonna get your blouse. So this is gonna be the right side of the dress. All right, so the right side of the dress, this is gonna be the right side of the blouse. Okay, so right side is the right side, and you could just settle it in. All right, just settle it in. So what am I talking about? So just pin it in. Once you think it's okay. Yep, I think it's okay here. So the only thing is that from the end here, I wanted to make sure it's straight, but everything else is gonna be gathered in. Yeah. So gathered in. I don't know if I have enough pins, so I'm just gonna go a little big. But when you're sewing, you gotta be very careful. You want to pin it a lot. So when you pin it, you want to take some and pin it a lot. And then something I want to show you as well after, you want to make sure that here, this portion and this portion have enough gathered, is even. So we'll do it after. I'm just going to pin for now, and then we will measure it up just to make sure all the sides are even. It's not just pinning. When you pin, if the sides are not even, then the whole dress could look like, you know, not even. You know what I mean? So I'm just pinning gently. Once all my gathered get in, just like that. Yeah, I think I'm okay here. You just have to average just to make sure everything look even in your eyes, right? This pin is not a good pin. this pin need to. So here, I'll just even out some of my gathered here. I need to pull my thread. Yep, like that. So the only thing here, I don't want here to be too straight. I mean, I don't want it gathered, I want it to be straight. So I think I'll stop around here, because the zipper gonna be going on those ends there. All right, so that is done. So now I'm just gonna check. So I want to make sure that this is even. Talking about 10 inches. Maybe about 10 inches here, that's fine. I'm gonna come just to make sure that you're gonna be 10. So it's 11 inches here. Actually, no, it's 10, sorry. Yep, okay, that's good. All right, so 10, that's for here, yeah. All right. So now, this is how it looks like. Then I'm just gonna sew it down and see how the final result looks. Okay, I started to sew, but I'm gonna sew on this side opposed to this side. So I don't think I might pin as I go. So now we're just gonna hem the bottom of the skirt, and the last thing we're gonna put up the zipper. So I did some serging. The serging is different color. I couldn't change the color of the thread. So I'm doing like 3/4 of an inch hem. So guys, let me explain something here now. So now I have the position for the zipper, right? So what I've done here, the neck usually just be a little bit smaller. So even though you may leave maybe 2 inches or how much you leave for the zipper, the neckline you don't put the same amount because usually it's be smaller, right? So I put 1 inch here, 1 inch here, 1.5 inch, that's more to the bust area, right? So again, you have to measure, make sure you know the body measurement and everything. And then I put 2.5 inch here, and then that's for the zipper. So what I've done I leave this space for my zipper here. This is the back of the dress. So this is the back, the arms is actually inside here. So I have the dress wrong size facing me. All right. So this is the back here. So this is what I was explaining here. So I'm gonna fold this in here and iron it. It may look as if it's weird, but it'll be fine. So I iron it from here to here to here. Right? Then I come down to the 2 inches here. So you'll be fine. So I'm gonna iron this side and I'm gonna iron that side to prepare for my zipper. Right. And then what I've done here, because the amount for her empire was 2.25 inches, I bring the 2.25 inches here into a full seam. So that's what I've done. So a full seam here. So the last thing for me to do is just to iron this and put the zipper, and then of course make sure you iron the dress. Okay, once you iron it, then you're good to go. Right, so now we're gonna sew the zipper down.
All right, guys, so we are going to be sewing the zipper down now. So the detail for the zipper, you may not understand it fully if you're not familiar with the full dressmaking itself, because zipper could be a challenge. So in this video itself, I speed up the video. So if you want to see how to do a detailed video on the zipper, we should have a zipper on our YouTube channel. Also, we do offer dressmaking academy from 2026. We are in February 2026. So if we are still around this era, we do offer dressmaking academy online, and we go step by step so you would understand all the process itself. All right, so again, for those who have stick around, thank you so much. Don't forget to share, subscribe, send me a message itself from the email, from the website on our screen, or in the comment section below. Again, like I mentioned, this is February of 2026, and we are in that era. I'm hoping if we are in that area and you're listening this message, then definitely you could contact us for online classes, and you could learn more detailed, and definitely we love to hear from you. So leave your comment below. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, my name is Gellis, and this is Infinite Modesty Design. We will see the end result of the dress. Thank you again. So guys, we teach sewing classes, of course, in person, as per this video in 2026, or you could also select online. So if you're in this era, then definitely contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you could take it from there. So guys, listen, I am done with the dress, and I'm so happy. We have the rose, we have the band. So the band is a tie string on the side, but you could actually just do it, make it stylish. So the dress is done. Our neckline, I'm just gonna see if I can move this around. The zipper is done. So you see I just put a little bow here. So you could always just loosen it out, right? Like this. So I actually want you to see the dress on taller. Yeah, so I'm just kind of gonna, yeah, so you see what is this? So yeah, it's like this. You turn it here nicely. You could make yourself like that. You could make a nice little bow. So when you make the bow now, because it's a gathered dress, you can make a nice little bow, right? So when you make a nice little bow, it becomes, it's the empire dress, right? So you come tailored here. And of course, you could take this part now, right? You take it this part, nicely style it up, right? And then you finish it out in the back here nicely, right? You just retie it here in the back. Ah. And who business if you have to tie it on the side? You could actually tie it in the back and the middle back, but who business if you have to tie it on the sides, right? Yeah, and you have your lovely dress. So this is the dress. You yourself got so this is the dress. This is the dress.